Now, before we move on to word problems, quick recap. There's two different techniques for solving algebraically. One is substitution, one is elimination. There are some times when using one over the other is maybe easier. I might use substitution if one of my variables is already solved for or has a coefficient of 1. Elimination I would use if I have plus minus, so like plus 8y minus 4y, then that's easy to convert. On the worksheet that is posted as an in-class assignment, all of the problems can be done in either way. They're pretty much like equally difficult for either technique. That way you can decide which one you want to do. I do recommend trying both. That way you're able to do them either way. Sometimes I might give you a problem. Well, since you'll be taking it on Hawks, there are sometimes Hawks says to use a certain technique, and it's set up to be very obviously like elimination's going to be easiest on this. However, I don't actually care how you solve them, and you can solve them however you want. So if it gives you a problem like, where was the one we just did? Okay, so this is a really good example. We actually kind of did this one, except I did a negative on the second equation in the elimination part. So if it gave you this system and it didn't say how to solve it, you might say, oh, well, I can just divide by 4 and solve for a variable, which is what we did here. Or what if I just multiplied this one of the equations by a negative, because then I'd have minus 4y plus 4y, no more y's. That's just as easy, and it's okay if you decide that you want to solve it that way. On the worksheet, I think my solution has both techniques, so I have both substitution and elimination. And again, the way you start, which equation, which variable, and which technique, all up to you. So there's lots of different ways to start these. Often there is one way that's easier than the other, but there isn't one that's most correct.